Jetzt geht's auf.
No, I didn't agree with the war, but the fact of the matter is, like, you know, I was a young man of a certain age, and my country was at war, and I would have a choice to make. Was I going to participate, or was I not going to participate? And I would remember that choice for the rest of my life.
The invasion of Iraq brought Saddam Hussein's brutal regime to a swift end. What followed was a storm of chaos, out of which an insurgency was born.
There were Iraqis, of course, in the insurgency, but there was a lot of foreigners coming from all over the Arab world, even from other non-Arab countries, even from the United States, from France, Europe.
Among those vying for power, one Jordanian man stood out. His name was Abu Musab al-Zarqawi.
Al-Zarqawi is a product of the Jordanian prison system, who had a dream of establishing a new caliphate, and he was bound and determined to do it.
After America disbanded the Iraqi army, Zarqawi built one of his own, drawing thousands of fighters from inside and outside Iraq.
The violence that Zarqawi preached was so appealing that people would come from all over the world to do the most horrendous and brutal things to people.
It was a daily scene when you go out and see bodies dumped in trash. They tied the kids into rocks and they throw them in the river. They cut their heads. It was horrible.
You're either with them or you're against them. If you're not with them, or if you don't financially support them, you're dead by all means.
Zarqawi called his group Al-Qaeda in Iraq. Today we know them as ISIS. In the spring of 2004, Iraqi nationalists and Zarqawi's growing army seized control of Fallujah, just miles from the capital.
These terrorists were armed to the teeth. No one could fight against them.
Fallujah kind of like was pushing a lot of danger into the country, pumping, like constantly pumping.
That was their safe zone. They go out and do stuff all over the country. If they could make it back to Fallujah, they were safe.
It had to be stopped, or the country will turn over to Al-Qaeda.
By October of 2004, Iraq's prime minister ordered civilians out of Fallujah so Iraqi and coalition forces could retake the city.
We are determined to clean Fallujah from terrorists.
90% of the population left the city, while thousands of insurgents turned it into a fortress. Early on November 9th, American and Iraqi troops entered Fallujah side by side. The next 6 days would be among the bloodiest in half a century.
Hallo und herzlich willkommen bei 6 Days in Fallujah. Ja, ich spiele das heute mal an. Die Demo. Ja, Early Access. Und ich spiele das Training. Um mal zum Schauen, wie das Spiel ist. Wir haben eine Handfeuerwaffe, Pistole und eine, was ist das? M4, M16? Ja, M4, M16. Eins von beiden. Taschenlampe an. Gut. Nur mal zum Schauen, wie es ist. Und die Kollegen, das sagen, wie es ist. Vielleicht spielen wir das dann auf unserem Kanal. Es ist ein Early Access, es kommt immer mehr dazu. Es ist von Soldaten mitentwickelt worden, die wirklich in Fallujah waren. Und hier warten wir ganz viel davon, um zum Beispiel Ready or Not zu ersetzen auf unserem Kanal. So, schauen wir mal, was man da so senkt. Was ich schon mal gut finde, ist, dass die Taschenlampe da leicht, wo die Waffen ist. Nach unten, wenn ich ins Ziel gehe, leicht vor mir, das finde ich super. Ist schon mal schön. Klären wir erstmal außen rum. Schreibt da gerne in die Kommentare, ob ihr das auch spielt oder spielen möchtet. I'm reloading.
Back online.
Und Klo ist keiner. So, dann sind wir mal rum. Erklären wir das Haus innen. Oh, sehr schön animiert. So schaut es auch gut aus. Also wir spielen auf höchster Einstellung. So wie immer. Die Geräusche sind ja geil. Den haben wir schon. Gut, da geht es dann nach oben, aber jetzt kriegen wir erst einmal Runden durch. Was piepst da? Okay. Haben tatsächlich welche umgestanden. Die hätten mir jetzt voll zersagen, wenn die echt gewesen wären. Also die Atmosphäre, die Beleuchtung, finde ich schon geil. Also nach Berichten und so weiter war Fallujah die Hölle. Also wirklich an jeder Ecke Terroristen. Und die einfach einen Gefangenen geköpft haben und so weiter und so fort. Also nicht gerade die nettesten Burschen. Ah, da hat die zwei Kollegen gewesen. Gut. Also es wird jetzt wirklich nur ein ganz kurzes angezockt. Ich möchte es dann, wenn dann, mit den Jungs spielen. Secure. 4 Minuten 25, ging bestimmt schneller. Wenn man die Map kennt, ich habe das schon mal durchgetestet, war eine andere Map, also selbst das Tutorial, also das Training ändert sich, das finde ich super. Ja, also optisch gefällt es mir ganz gut. Es kommt noch viel dazu, momentan ist noch nicht so viel Inhalt drin, weil es ja Early Access ist. Und ich finde aber den Preis, ich glaube 39 € oder 36 € auf Steam, finde ich ganz gerechtfertigt. Es schaut gut aus. Und ich glaube, dass das auch was Gutes werden wird. Jetzt schauen wir uns noch ein Video an, als Abschluss. Und dann würde ich sagen, lasst Kommentare da und Bewertungen da, was ist von dem Spiel jetzt. Das war jetzt wirklich nur ein kurzer Einblick. Aber vielleicht demnächst mehr auf unserem Kanal. Also, bis dann.
It was real for us very quickly. We had a, KIA Marine within 5 minutes.
That city was 100% controlled by insurgency. We would find a head in the street, and there was no body. And we would find a body, and there was no head.
I knew this was an Al-Qaeda thing, this was a foreign fighter thing. I knew this was whoever the hell wanted to fight us in the whole world was coming to Fallujah.
Early in the morning of November 9th, 6 battalions of American and Iraqi forces began pushing south to clear all insurgents from Fallujah.
The only way you can clear a city is you have to search every house, you have to search every room, and you have to root out every insurgent.
They'd remain static in a building, knowing that they're probably not going to live. They may not even have a way back out, but they're so heavily fortified that you have to go in there and get them.
Every time we would go into one of those buildings, you never know what to expect.
It's different every single time. The only constant is, the fear, the adrenaline, the unknown.
We sustained hundreds of casualties. I mean, one guy in a building could take out a fire team.
The first objective for Regimental Combat Team 1 was to retake the Jolan district.
Jolan district was a district where that was kind of Al-Qaeda's headquarters. And we knew that it was going to get hairy down there.
There was still that sense of fear as we pulled into the city. I mean, it just grips you.
It was pitch black that night. Pitch black, because they did the attack on no moon, no illumination at all.
You could hear them from the mosque shouting to each other, let them come in, you know, never run, never show them that you're afraid. It's tough fighting an enemy that's not afraid to die.